Good evening, out of wherever we are, time travel, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls. We're back with another Flash video. Yes, we're repping it, and this video actually is kind of different than us talking about like the previous seasons and all that stuff. We're actually going to be talking about season 19, not season 19, season 8, episode 19. I'm feeling pretty cool because I'm with the know-how and all that stuff with it. And with that being said, huge spoilers if you have not watched any of season 8 or anything like that. So if you haven't watched it and you're planning on watching it, do not watch this video. Spoilers. Big time spoilers. Um before we we're gonna be reacting to Ashley Flashverse breakdown video on it. But I wanna say a couple things before we do that. And that is, I hope, see, okay, I get it. Iris is a beloved character in the show and everything like that. But and like this isn't towards her character or her actor at all. It's just how the writers made Iris in the Flash. Just she has went from season 1 and probably parts way through season 2 as my top 3, maybe 4th favorite character, to by the time season 3 and on went on as like my least favorite character. Like, I do not like Iris whatsoever, as you guys know in my last my last Flash video, and actually I have talked about it in my Arrow video that I just uploaded not too long ago. But yeah, Iris is not Iris. So one of the big things happened at the end of the episode. Iris died, and we're gonna show that scene here in a second. The whole episode was talking about sacrifices and the negative forces, the steel, the sage, the strength forces, getting revenge on Barry for what he did to what us fans have been theorizing as what he did to Earborn Thawne at the end of Armageddon, which is taking away his speed. So to basically save Thawne's life, that was the only way probably one of the only ways how they could have saved Thawne, and that's what Barry did. He took away Thawne's speed and then locked him up on Lian Yu. So there's that. The and then after that, the whole clusterfuck of the Reverse Flash, as the Reverse Flash comes back with the negative steel force and everything like that. So yeah, I mean, there's just a lot of stuff that happened with it. It's just something. Season 19 was a solid 8 out of 10 on my end of things. I greatly enjoyed it. So I think this intro has gone long enough. And the whole thing with Cecile too is actually kind of weird. I'm not sure where they're going on with that. I can't actually get a whole grasp on what's going on with Cecile. I think they're trying to power her up too fast because there's for some weird reason. I don't know why. And I'm thinking at the end of this, right, is because with Iris's death and with Jesse, who plays Joe, with him leaving, I think that it's going to be permanent, because we all know, they said that the end of season 8, the season 8 finale, the two 2-part finale is supposed to be they written the 2-part finale as a finale where they are going to basically was a series finale. So yeah, they written this finale, the season finale of season 8 as a series finale. So I don't know if that's they're going to keep Iris dead or what, or if they're going to keep it what it is. So yeah, so yeah. But let's get into the breakdown of the video and everything like that. And I will talk more about it in the breakdown. But anyways, guys, Editor Corn, you know what to do. Play my shit. Alright, so here we are. The breakdown video by Flashverse. Their channel is going to be in the description down below. So, yeah. That part was gruesome. I mean, like, it's not gruesome on the fact, like, of gruesome that we know of, but that part was gruesome for, like, Flash.
Yo, what is going on, guys? Flashverse here, and welcome back to another video on The Flash Season 8. And this will be my review and breakdown for The Flash Season 8 Episode 19, titled Negative Book 1. And just giving you guys my initial thoughts on the episode very quickly before I move into like the breakdown itself and go more in detail with each of the scenes. I don't really know how to feel about this episode, to be completely honest. There's a lot of things I absolutely loved, and those things I loved were peak. They were really, really good. The whole concept with the negative forces, it did get me worried because, of course, the forces were by far the worst things of Season 7, and we knew that the forces would be back for this graphic novel. So the idea of bringing a version of the forces back did get me worried. And it still wasn't, too great, but seeing Dion as a villain, man, that is something
See, I don't know how I felt about the negative speed forces. Like, the negative forces was great. Like, it was good, but we still don't. I mean, I think they said it in the show. I have to rewatch it to double check and make sure that I'm talking okay about it. But I think the negative. I mean, if the negative forces has been a thing, right, ever since Thawne created his own negative speed force, if that's been a thing, then okay, I guess, because if I am correct, isn't like, so Barry and Team Flash created the artificial speed force for Barry so that he can get his speed back, but what about all the other speedsters who still had their speed? Like, they didn't go in with the negative, like, they didn't get, like, pushed with the artificial speed force and everything like that. So I don't know, but I had to double check and rewatch the episode to make sure I'm getting my facts straight.
really, really liked. Dion was crazy in this episode, and of course the whole negative forces concept was an ongoing theory we discussed on this channel through multiple videos, so it was really cool seeing that. The interactions between Barry and Mina were just absolutely amazing. Seeing Bart and Nora back was great. Getting all those...
I don't know how I feel about Mina. I still like we got what we got with her in the last episode, episode 18, where the negative artificial speed force took over, yada yada yada, and but it's I don't like I get like they having fast track as what they have in the in the comic books, but like a fast track in the show, I it's kind of weird. And definitely how she runs, I get it. She has a smaller frame, so it literally looks like sticks with like the small little hands on it as she runs. So, and I don't know. I don't know. I don't know.
mysteries and reveals, especially towards the end. Seeing Eobard and Fast Track team up as speedsters, and of course, it goes without saying that Tom Cavanagh just...
The OG Thon, the OG Reverse Flash suit made me realize how ugly the new Reverse Flash suit looks on Thawne. It just looks bad. I mean, at the beginning with Armageddon, it looked better on Barry. I rather have this one that have him have the OG suit, but I don't know. I don't like the really bright ass yellow it has. I really don't.
continues to steal the show. He's
like,
on a 3
this yellow is, I don't know,
MVP streak right now, and wow, that ending we definitely have to talk about. But despite me enjoying these moments, and I do acknowledge they are really, really peak moments, and one of the biggest WTF moments we've probably seen on the show, especially that ending, there's a lot of stuff I really did not like.
dude. Of course, I get it, but like, say if Barry had to run fast to hit the speed, the negative forces with that blast, with that like Mach 5, like man, I'm sorry, I'm the fact that he was running and then he goes and then probably one of my favorite shots in the Flash. It's like the Flash shows him running through town, or him doing fighting in the streets and everything like that, and this type of CGI moment here. It's great
About this episode, and that has to do with Cecile's storyline, which heavily brought...
So Cecile's storyline, apparently, so in episode 18, if you guys haven't watched it, again, spoilers, but if you guys haven't watched it and you guys are like, you know what, fuck it, we're still here, it's probably a good 12 minutes into the video already, because I had a long intro. Forget it, we'll stick around. Last episode, Cecile got her powers was multiplying. Like, she, instead of feeling everyone's guilt and fear and everything like that, and it's crippling her, she was able to take the person's fear and stuff like that and throw it on to someone else. And at the end of the last episode, she was able to induce a vertigo, which she was actually around the neighborhood that Top was in. If you guys don't remember, Top is I don't remember her name. But Top was one of the villains in season 4. she was able to, whoever she came up against, create having severe cases of vertigo. So Cecile can do that, and now in this episode she was talking to a meta that can read minds. She got it, and she was able to go past the power dampening walls and read everyone in the city's minds. I don't get it. Why is Cecile getting such a power boost? My artist
Broke down the episode for me. I could not care less about the storyline one bit. I don't know why they feel so entitled to make Cecile a vigilante all of a sudden. I just hate it. I don't want to see this, and fair enough for those who enjoyed this storyline. I'm happy for you. I wish I could enjoy it as well. But I think the majority would agree with me when I say no one asked for this. Absolutely no one asked for this. And they could...
Yeah, really, it's just filler. Like, literally, you can just skip. You can literally... Hold on. You can literally skip that entire part and everything like that with it, and you'll be fine. You can skip this scene. You can skip the end of the episode, season 18, and you'll be fine, because Cecile's story and everything like that does not have anything to do with the main story. Yes, when they were fighting off, where they were giving Barry time to teach Mina and Thawne how to transfer her powers, share her powers with Thawne. Yes, that was a thing. Cecile used her powers there to stop Dion from, Thanos snapping them out of the way and stuff like that. But really, other than that, there's nothing else that we need to know about it.
Could do so many better storylines with Cecile, like they did in season 5, where she essentially filled in for Joe, and she's been a great character when she took Joe's place, and of course seeing her doing some court stuff and all of that, those are interesting stuff. But I do not want to see her becoming a vigilante. There is no point of it. It's so unnecessary. And
I feel like, right, this is what happened with Iris. As I said, in season 1 and 2, Iris was a decent character for me. Iris was in my top 3 because Iris was doing reporting. Season 2, Iris was perfect. Season 1, Iris was perfectly fine because she didn't know about Barry's secret, so she wasn't around in Star Labs, and she was doing her reporting stuff. Season 2, okay, yeah, fine, all right. She was doing perfectly fine. We didn't need to, she showed her face around a couple of times, definitely when Wally showed up and everything like that. But when season 3 came around and she became the leader of Team Flash, why? Literally give that role to Cisco or Caitlyn at that time. Those two people were there. Those two people were the people who been by Barry's side the longest. I don't get why the writers gave Iris that role, and I feel like that's what they're doing with Cecile. They're giving Cecile a role that she doesn't need to play into. Cecile is a lawyer, and yes, she has empathic powers, but the fact that Top was like, you're becoming the most powerful empath in the city, hell, even the Earth, even in the world.
even having a leveled up
test
hero as well now.
Okay.
You do not need this. I don't know why they did it, but I absolutely hate it. I don't want to see it. But yeah, that portion of the episode I really, really disliked. And It was just mostly with the Cecile stuff. Now, nothing against the actress or her portrayal of this character, because she is very, very talented and definitely one.
Exactly. Like, all my stuff is Cecile as, like, the character. Like, the writing for this character. The actress for Cecile, she does an amazing job and everything like that. Like, she does a phenomenal job. I fucking love her. But Cecile as, like, a character development way that the show is writing her to be is not necessary.
One of the better actors on the show. It's just what they're doing with this character I just don't like, and I'm trying to understand why they did this, but I just cannot find the reasoning. And if they do have a reasoning for it, then it's probably a stupid one, because you do not need this at all. But yeah, we now have Cecile being a vigilante, and it seems like she's gonna go out in the field, which sucks. I'm very worried. I'm very, very worried. But there are other stuff I did not enjoy in this episode, most specifically some, once again, plot holes with Cecile's storyline, and also like that one scene where we had like lightning going around the city, yet there's no widespread panic at all. And yes, I know they don't acknowledge it, but like they could have at least made like a couple of scenes showing like some panic going around because of this like different types of lightning, and just, you know, highlight this cataclysmic event that could take place if these forces do prevail. So I do wish they did something like that, but
Yeah.
again, it is what it is, I guess. We did have some over-the-top acting with some of the forces. Dion was absolutely amazing, but more like Alexa, she was way too over-the-top, I felt. And then, yes, we did have some corny scenes with Bashir, but I get that that's his character, but it's just not stuff that
I quite enjoyed Bashir's and how he was in this episode. He was, I mean, if you guys remember in season 7, don't worry, I don't, but this is what Bashir was. He was this corny, vengeful person that made jokes and made stupid one-liners. And, I mean, since he's back, I mean, it makes sense for him to be back. And I'm so glad we did not have the Strike Force Hulk out. That was bad. The CGI for that was bad. And a lot of people were like, oh, it's because of the budget. Maybe it's because the fans didn't like it. Have you thought about that?
I enjoyed too much. So yeah, although we did have some absolutely phenomenal parts, the flaws need to be taken into consideration before judging the episode. And for me at least, I watched this episode twice. The first time I watched the episode, I absolutely despised this episode. I really, really disliked it. The second time I watched the episode, to of course get a better idea for this review, I enjoyed it slightly more. And not just slightly more, I enjoyed it a lot more. But the Cecile stuff significantly brought down the episode for me. Like, I would let the Forces stuff slide. I would let the plot hole slide. If you took out Cecile stuff, this episode would have been an easy 9 out of 10, 10 out of 10 episode. But the Cecile stuff brought it down to like a 7 or a 6 for me. That's how I felt about the Cecile stuff. And I am really, really worried with what they're going to do with her character, because I'm not liking what they're doing with it. But other than that, as I said, a really, really solid episode. We have had some absolutely phenomenal...
By the way, episode 20, I hope that they make, because how they've been portraying Nina's power is her love for Eobard. And now since Eobard's gone and the reverse flash took its place, I'm hoping that it's like going to do something with her powers. It's going to slow her down or something, because, or it will make her, I hate to say this, stronger. Because how they've been portraying her powers and the connection of her love to Eobard to her powers with the artificial speed force, which doesn't make sense because, oh, it's the Flash, and we gotta make it. And all our speedsters need their powers. The majority of our speedsters need to make our powers about the love that they feel for the other person. Stop stop, please, just stop. Like that's that's probably another thing about this episode that it bothers me because it's just such a it's awful. This show, like, this is probably one of the reasons why how they made Barry and Iris's characters come together, and why it kind of ruined the Flash. Definitely season 7. It was just awful because they base Barry's speed and his powers around the fact that he loved Iris. Season 1, okay, yeah, he loved Iris, but Iris was a main part, but it wasn't a main love part on his side. Iris didn't know about his power until the mid-season finale of season 1. Writers, stop making the Speed Force the Speed Love Force. Please. Don't make it the Love Force. Make it the Speed Force. Please. Stop it.
Phenomenal moments, and I cannot wait to see what's in store for us going into the finale. But of course, before I get into this review and breakdown itself, I will give a quick spoiler warning. So for those who haven't seen the episode, you have been warned, because of course this is a review and breakdown, so I'll be going over the episode bit by bit.
Spoiler warning.
Give you guys my overall thoughts on the episode. So yeah, if you haven't seen the episode, go watch the episode and come back later for this breakdown. But for those who are staying, be sure to drop a like on the video and subscribe to the channel so you are aware of more Arrowverse content coming your way. Okay, so this episode opens up in 2049, and we get this really fun and hilarious scene between Bart and Nora and their gaming. Of course, we have Nora defeating Bart, which Bart does get salty about. And this...
I actually love this. I love this scene. Bart. I didn't like Bart. I didn't like Bart, to be honest with you, in season 7. But more and more that we start seeing Bart around, Bart's a great. I love Bart.
This scene I just found really funny, but we of course get a call from future Iris, and then we have this funny moment where Bart like speeds, changes his clothes, gets like a bunch of books. He's like, "Oh mom, thank God you called. I've been studying all night for this exam." And Iris is like, "Haha, yeah, you weren't." And then Bart was like, "Okay, yeah, I didn't." I found that really funny, and I absolutely loved it. But yeah, we have future Iris disappearing, and we have...
So with that, we know that Bart's is in college. So with that scene, we know that Bart's in college, which is dope. But I want more character development with Bart.
We have 2022 Iris emerging in the flesh in front of Bart and Nora, and this is of course due to her time sickness.
Why?
Bart and Nora are of course confused and don't know what is going on. And then during the episode, Iris does mention that the last thing she remembers is the stuff from episode 14, where of course she was in her office, she was reading Taylor's article, I believe, and she just vanished.
Yeah.
Now Nora does try to take Iris back to 2022, but she fails. It's due to like some temporal wave preventing time travel, and Nora does mention that she's seen something like this before, and that is of course Dion's doing. So Nora is just like, okay, but why is Dion preventing mom from going back home? So that is of course some sort of mystery that they've established as well. But we then head to present day at Fast Track Labs, and we have Mina trying on her new suit, and it just looks absolutely phenomenal. I love
I do like the new design of the new suit. The helmet kit, like the mask. I don't know. I don't know how I feel about the mask. It has to grow on me. Because when Barry got his new suit in Armageddon, I was iffy about it. Like, I didn't really like it that much. But it's grown on me. I seen Barry in it a lot. I seen Grant Gustin in it a lot, and it's like, okay, all right, cool. But every time when they put a new person in it, in the The mask, the helmet just looks so fucking weird on people, dude.
Detailing of the suit, and it just fits the actress so well. The suit just looks incredibly comic book accurate, and I really love it. I did have an issue with the cowl, and I just feel like the VFX shot where they went for the nanotechnology cowl doesn't work with people who have long hair, because it
Thank you! Thank you!
just makes it look like their hair just randomly gets chopped off when the mask emerges. It just looks weird, but it does not affect the episode at all. It's just like a VFX issue I found. But
Yeah.
overall, really, really cool suit and incredibly damn comic accurate. But yeah, Mina continues training, and we find out that her speed just gets faster and faster. However, she does get emotional because she can't reach her full potential yet, and that is something that's bothering her. It results her into like doubting herself way too much, and she gets way too emotional to a point where she just runs off, and of course Barry does follow after her. But we do get this really, really great scene between Barry and Mina. I absolutely love the dynamic between these two characters, and I really want to see more scenes between these.
I love the mentor Barry is probably one of my favorites. When he was mentoring Jesse, when he was mentoring Wally, when he was mentoring Nora from the first Nora from the future, and now when he's mentoring Mina, I love mentor Barry. Like it definitely when he like first started mentoring, it was like, all right, Barry, you need to calm down, bro. But now it's like Barry fills in this mentor role amazing, and it's great. I love it.
Too, because this scene was just beautiful. I loved it. But Barry talks to Mina about how she already is a great hero. She doesn't need to have like the fastest abilities for that. She's already a great hero, and she's doubting herself too much. And this is when we have Barry revealing his identity to convey that someone like a CSI ended up becoming the Flash. So if anything, Mina definitely has a potential, which does of course make her more comfortable, despite her still having conflicting like issues for her, doubting herself, and we do see that being maintained throughout this episode. But Barry does also give Mina the name Fast Track as Mina's secret identity, which of course is her alias in the comics. We then head over to Lian Yu, and this was a scene I was really intrigued with, especially when watching the episode. Dion does reveal Thawne's destiny, and he does say that he will get everything he wants,
Yeah.
but at a cost. And then of course Thawne was like, oh wait, what is the cost of me, getting everything I want? And then Dion goes, your life. I'm like, wait, what's going on over here? And Thawne starts to panic, and Dion kills him. And I was just like, wait, what? Because of course we do see Tom Cavanaugh in set photos for the finale, so I'm like, wait, what the hell's up? How does Thawne come back from this? But yeah, we of course find out later on in the episode from the insane ending. But we then cut to Star Labs, where we have Chester being able to get some isotopic signature readings on temporal energy at Lian Yu, and this is when Barry notices that it's Dion who's doing this. So we have Barry speeding to Lian Yu, only finding Thawne dead, aged completely. He's like aged by 1,000 years. His body's like completely decayed. And then
It's
Team Flash are of
mummified.
course confused in regards to why Dion would do something like this, in which Barry does of course mention that Dion hasn't been himself recently, and of course we do find out why in this episode. Now here's my one issue right off the bat with the storyline. Cecile of course tells Joe that she essentially went out fighting crime last night, which of course is an issue on its own because this shouldn't happen. I don't think Cecile should be having a characterization like this because
Yeah.
it's so unnecessary. But that's not the main issue over here, especially in this scene. The Top arrives and talks about Cecile leveling up, and Top does mention that her power.
I swear to God, if I hear leveling up or you have leveled up one more time in this goddamn season, I'm gonna blow my top. Ba-ba-da-ba-da-ba. That was a joke. No. No, it was a joke about that. It was it was a it's supposed to be a pun, but no, literally, I'm serious. If I hear them say you have leveled up one more fucking time, I'm so done. I'm done.
Powers are gone because Cecile removed them, which I don't remember happening, but apparently it happened earlier on in season 8, so episode 3. However, Rosa does of course mention that she's the
Rosa.
one that taught Cecile how to do this. But technically, episodes 1 to 4 did not happen because Armageddon never happened because Barry restored the timeline. So how in the world is it possible that
Yeah,
Rosa teaches this to
that's right.
Cecile if Armageddon did not happen? That is, of course, a plot hole they did not take into consideration over here, and it doesn't.
It's always the plot holes with time travel that CW has issues with. Every time when Barry restores the timeline, time travels in the back, and everything like that, there's always an issue with it.
Does not make sense. But yeah, they go to the member of the Royal Flush Gang at Iron Heights to further investigate what's going on with Cecile's powers. They do ask her to read Cecile's mind, but then Cecile's able to absorb her powers as well. And this just absolutely makes me flip. The top mentions that Cecile is becoming one of the most powerful metas in Central City. What? What?
You forgot also, like, probably the world, too. That kind of pissed me off, too.
Why? Why are we getting something like this? I do not understand. And it really triggered me because I loved what we got with a lot of stuff in this episode, especially with the main speedster stuff. But this really dropped the episode for me because I really hated every bit of whatever they're doing with Cecile over here. And now she can break through meta dampening stuff. Like, she could read minds outside meta dampening cells. How is that even possible? But we head over to 2049 and we have Bart, Nora, and Iris going to Joan Williams to investigate what's going on with Iris's time sickness. And then Joan Williams does mention stuff about negative tachyons and how they're like increasing rapidly in her body. Of course, once again tying stuff into the ending scene. But Iris does get a vision on the forces. She doesn't understand what the purpose of it is, but like she says that the forces seem weird, like they're not entirely themselves. And of course we know that because these are negative versions of the forces that we know. But then we have Nora West Allen heading to 2022 to of course help out Team Flash and of course tell Barry that Iris is in the future. But yeah, we then have this training scene at Fast Track Labs once again where Mina is just pushing herself to the limits with her training. Thawne does talk.
So what's up with
to her
that tie?
about-
Like, that tie, like, ties have a point. Why is yours cut off and it's I don't
her
know.
like pushing
Sorry, I
herself and like
shouldn't
she
be
just keeps
focusing on
doubting
that.
herself. It was a really great scene between Mina and Thawne. We then have the negative forces arriving to kill Thawne because they do mention that Thawne's presence makes them weaker and they're of course trying to control over the positive forces, so they're trying to assert dominance essentially. But Mina tries to protect Thawne. She of course tries running Thawne out, but that is before Dion freezes them, so they're stood still. And we get this really sick scene highlighting how much more powerful Barry is, how much
The Barry really shows how much powerful he got in this episode. Oh my god.
leveled up he's become. Where he's able to break out of Dion's freeze and he just explodes in lightning. It gave me chills. It was really sick. And like seeing these scenes and acknowledging that Barry has leveled up, it just...
Stop saying it. He is powered up, got more powerful, stronger, something else, a different way of saying level up, please, instead of saying he really has leveled up. Oh my god.
makes Cecile's situation even worse, because if we have a leveled up superhero over here that's pretty much at his peakest point at the moment, why is it necessary to
Don't
bring
say
in
it again.
someone else at the field? That's like, we killed off Frost. Barry should be out there alone now. He's like way more powerful enough to be able to handle things on his own now. He's much more confident, and we've seen that this season he's been able to take out enemies alone. So I don't get why we now need Cecile essentially being a vigilante going out there in the field. So that again does not help with the whole situation. But yeah, after Barry of course saves Mina and Thawne, Barry is about to collapse and Thawne and Mina of course catch Barry, and Barry mentions that his speed force has become weaker. It's at like a worse state than what Mina did to him in the previous episode. But we then have Caitlyn and Chillblade's storyline, where of course they're trying to bring Frost back, and it's got to do with this cryo chamber. Caitlyn of course enters the cryo chamber. So of course this is a cliffhanger which will lead into the finale, and of course will continue over to season 9 as well. But this is essentially Caitlyn becoming Killer Frost again. I think that's what's going to happen over here, and it's most probably going to be like as some sort of cliffhanger for the end of the season, I guess, because I don't know where else they would be able to fit it with the climax of like the finale being so high. I don't know where they'd be able to fit this in, so it'll be interesting to see what they do with this. But I think Caitlyn will become Killer Frost, and it.
Okay, so prediction. Actually, no. I'll save my predictions for the end for next week. Well, next week's episode, because I have a lot of predictions that's going to happen in this video. It's going to be fucking long, but
It would be a pretty cool like sub cliffhanger, if you will, going into season 9. Now Nora West Allen of course tells Barry what's happening with Iris, and of course Team Flash wonder why there is no negative Speed Force Nora, in which they do acknowledge that it's probably got to do something during the events of Armageddon Part 5, where of course Barry extracts Thawne's negative Speed Force from him. So maybe that just killed negative Speed Force Nora. And then they do of course talk about what happens if the negative forces assert dominance, and then they mention that all speedsters will no longer exist. And I don't know how this makes sense, because the forces were not created before. We did not have the Strength Force, we did not have the Steel Force, we did not have the Sage Force. We only had the Speed Force in previous seasons, and it just worked fine. And then now it's the same case with the negative forces. We do not have a negative Speed Force, but then the other forces are there. So how does the other forces being there affect Speed Force? That's what I do not understand. I don't know.
Exactly, because as I said at the beginning, the artificial Speed Force that gave Barry his powers and basically essentially created the strength and the Sage Forces, that was just to get Barry's powers back. So there's just another hole there.
Maybe I'm just overthinking
that I'm hoping that
if anyone does have an explanation for it, be sure to tell me in the comment section down below. But we then have Mina in Star Labs, and she just continues to push herself once again. And we have this another great scene between Eobard and Mina, where Mina talks about how all of this was meant to be Eobard's dream. She never wanted to be a speedster. This was all meant to be for Thawne. And then Thawne says like his dream is living through her, essentially, because now she's a speedster. And it's just really so sweet and so nice to get these scenes with Eobard Thawne of all people. And Matt Letcher did an incredible job in this role. We're definitely going to see him more, and he's definitely going to be a villain going forward, despite him quote unquote dying in this episode. We know he's going to be back eventually, otherwise the whole story of the Flash and the Reverse Flash, it will not make sense if he doesn't come back. So we know he's definitely going to come back.
Exactly.
But for now, having this version of Matt Letcher's Eobard Thawne was something I really, really loved. But yeah, of course, Mina does wish that they could both share this experience of being a speedster, in which Barry does mention that they could indeed share this experience, and Barry does teach Mina how to do it. So we get this really cool scene at Fast Track Labs where we of course have the lightning process getting started, and at the start Mina can't do it. She can't share her speed at the first time, and then Barry does essentially tell Mina to make it feel like she's sharing a part of herself to Eobard, and of course use their love connection so that they don't get corrupted by the negative Speed Force. And then Thawne gets his powers, and he does get the Reverse Flash ring as well, which I thought was really, really sick and I absolutely loved. Now, this bit I just don't want to talk about because it's just going to trigger me even more. But we have Chester, Allegra, and Cecile facing off against negative forces, and then Bashir just perfectly sums this scene up. Is this like the B team? Are you kidding me? It was absolutely terrible. I don't even want to talk about it because of how bad it was. It was way too over-the-top acting from some characters, especially from Alexa, and we had some corny and cheesy dialogue with Bashir, which, again, I said in the intro, I get that that's his character, but it does get annoying. Dion was absolutely phenomenal. I really love Dion, however. But Cecile's out there as a vigilante again, and to make things even worse, now Chester's out there in the field, and I just don't understand why. It's unnecessary. It doesn't need to happen, but they're just forcing.
I mean, I guess it makes sense because once when Cisco got his powers, he was helping Barry out in the field. But I mean, again, I think they're trying too hard to make Chester be a Cisco 2.0. And yeah, I get it that Chester had that. I mean, Chester's more. Again, Chester's more of a guy behind the computer. It was like when Felicity was out in the field in the Arrow. Felicity's more of a person behind the computer. Like it was when like automatically she can hack shit from a tablet and all that shit. It was like, no. I get it at that moment in time, like, no. But like it could have, like, someone else could have easily thrown a stick up at that drone and knock it down, Oliver, or something like that. But no, they had to have Felicity out in the field, and the other moments where she was out in the fields and stuff like that. And yeah, it's not necessary. CW, it's not.
This, and I just don't like it. And to be completely honest, I'm saying this in all honesty, Allegra being out there in the field works. I don't mind that. I do not mind that.
Exactly.
She's had experience before. She has some really cool powers, in which Cecile does have cool powers as well. But Allegra at least has some experience. We've seen her fight in season 6. But Cecile only just started going out there in the field, and she's risking her life already, which does not make sense. Allegra being...
With no training, I may add. Cecile has no training whatsoever, no experience, and at the beginning of all this, she was a DA.
Out there does make sense, and ironically enough, Allegra's scenes were by far the better bits in regards to the negative forces versus Team Flash B, if you will. It's just the way she walks around with her hands in the open does really bother me, but her bits were definitely the best of the bunch in terms of the forces facing off against those three. Now, of course, the forces do mop the floor with those three, in which the Flash then confronts the negative forces, and then I can't remember who it was. I'm pretty sure it was Bashir saying, it's 3 versus 1, you can't do anything. And then Barry does, of course, bring in his reinforcements, which are Mina Dawan and the Reverse Flash, and they joined in. It was a really, really sick moment. I absolutely loved it. I got chills seeing Thawne in the old Reverse Flash.
This outfit, bro.
It was something
Why
I
the
really
bright
liked
yellow?
as well. And just having Matt Letcher wearing that costume as well, it was absolutely beautiful. We had this really cool fight scene between the speedsters and the forces. I really liked the range of abilities Barry used. I loved how we got that flash time effect when Barry talked about their plan in super speed. Loved all of that. And of course, as Barry begins to gain enough velocity by running across the city, Mina and the Reverse Flash do distract the forces, and while that is happening, in 2049, Iris gets more visions, eventually finding out what the sacrifice Dion was talking about was on, and it was not Thawne, but it was actually herself, which was...
I thought it was Barry. For how they were building it up, I thought they were going to do something to like push Mina and Thawne out of the way and then hit Barry with something. But the fact that they brought Iris, oh, I was like, oh no. But the evil side of me was like, yes. But the other side of me was like, oh no. But, you know, the other 50% of me was like, yes. But, you know, the angel side of me was like, oh no. I'm going to stop with this bit now. Oh no.
Such an insane twist. I lost my mind when we ended up getting that ending scene. As Barry threw lightning, Dion pulls out Iris and pretty much Barry shoots Iris with lightning, killing her. Although we know Iris isn't dead, we know Iris is coming back for next week's episode. That is 100% confirmed already.
Did they confirm it? Cause little parts of me was like, yay. While the other parts of me was like, oh no.
This was such a sick moment. My jaw dropped. And just the thing that makes this even more shocking is that essentially Barry killed Iris because it's Barry's lightning that killed Iris. So seeing Barry absolutely guilt trip about this in next week's episode is going to be so interesting to watch. And I'm really interested to see Barry's change in character because of Iris's death. That's going to be something really interesting. But yeah, we then have the negative still force particles transferring to Matt Letcher's Eobard Thun, and he's in immense pain. His body starts crackling and all that. He starts charging with red lightning. And I'm like, okay, fine. He's getting his memories back, and he's going to become a villain now. But this is when we have Welzebard ripping out Letcher's face, revealing himself with his powers back. He's like, thanks for the resurrection, Flash. Blew my mind. This, of course, was an Easter egg to the shot from the Flash Rebirth comics. But this was such an insane ending. I got chills, and it's definitely one of the biggest WTF moments of the show by far. It was crazy to see, and I cannot wait to see where things go in the finale. This was such an insane cliffhanger, and I really loved this bit. But yeah, guys, thanks for watching. If you guys have enjoyed the video.
Okay. Guys, as always, Flashverse video YouTube channel is going to be in the description down below. If you guys want to watch this uninterrupted, feel free to head over there. And he has other Arrowverse stuff. He even has some of the Earth Prime comic book stuff out too. So definitely go check him out. Give that video a like, and help support him. Anyways, so to continue, so I have predictions for next week's episode. And I hope that they come true. So, going back to where he was talking about how Caitlin goes into the cryo chamber and reverses back and trying to give Killer Frost or give Frost a voice and everything like that again is an interesting thing, but it's probably not going to work out that way. The thing is, I don't like Caitlin. Frost might be back, but as everyone's saying, it's going to be as Killer Frost. So one of the things is I don't know how they're going to do it, but make Caitlin or have Caitlin come in and help Team Flash at the end of the fight scene. You know, have them help, have her help them out with fighting the forces or fighting whatever is going to happen. So and then something's going to happen where Barry's going to say something and it's going to just tick Caitlin and Frost off, and boom, she turns against them, and Killer Frost could be our villain of season 9. Don't know. We also have to think about Bloodwork. Bloodwork is supposed to be a villain of season 9. Apparently we're supposed to get a cameo, a surprise cameo from someone. I have 3 predictions on who it's going to be. First one, Stephen Amell as Oliver Queen, as Spectre Queen, you know, or Spectre Oliver, or whatever you want to call him. Second one, I'm hoping it is Supergirl. That's my hope. That's just my hope in general. Like, because people are like, oh, it's going to be Superman. But, I mean, yeah, Superman might, but if you guys don't remember, Superman's dealing with his own shit over at fucking in Timbuktu of fucking Smallville, you know? But, but I think I think if it's going to be one of the Kryptonians, it's going to be Kara. It's going to be Supergirl if they're going to do that. My third thought would be Wally coming in. Wally coming in and being one of the speedsters to help fight against the forces and fight against Eobard and everything like that. Because at the end of the trailers for season 8, episode 20, we get Eobard saying, "Who's faster now, Flash?" And so we get one of those. So probably Nora, Bart, Mina, and maybe Jade's gonna help from 2049, and then we're gonna get Wally to come back and help them out and give Barry that speed boost that he needs to take down Thawne, because I think Thawne's not going to be a baddie in season 9. I think this is going to be the end of the Reverse Flash for like the Flash TV show, you know. Yeah, I get it. It's like the whole, well, they're supposed to be doing this in the future and stuff like that, but Thawne's been away from that future for a long time, so we don't know what's up with Thawne. And we got moments in time where in 2049 where Thawne's nowhere around and Barry's helping Jay off world. Bart says in this episode actually. And so, I mean, we might get a Thawne. I mean, we might get Wally coming in. But yeah, it's going to be someone that's close to Barry to bring Barry back from the edge, because in the trailer for episode 20, Cecile says you want revenge and stuff like that, and we've never seen how Barry reacts to when it's Iris who dies. Yeah, we got a little bit of what happened, but Barry, that was like emo Barry shutting down and all that stuff in season 3 when they figured out that Savitar was going to kill Iris. But I mean, we saw how Barry was when Thawne killed his mother, when Thawne killed Nora. We saw how he acted when Zoom killed killed Harry, Barry's father. But we never really got to see what it was like when Iris actually dies. So someone close to Barry that's not a part of Team Flash is gonna probably have to talk him down. And my top 2 runners is either Kara or Oliver. And yes, I know Oliver is supposed to be dead and everything like that, but it's a surprise. It's supposed to be a cameo. So like Stephen Amell or Militia, they're going to come in. I'm hoping it's one of those 2. But you know what? We're going to have to wait and see for next week's season finale of The Flash. And I'm also probably going to talk about the season finale of Superman and Lois as well next week too. But yeah, guys, thank you guys so much for watching. If you guys like today's video hit that like button. If you guys love what I do on the channel, hit that subscribe button and that bell notification up above to get notified whenever I upload a video. I'm not going to say my schedule because I don't have an uploading schedule. And yeah, leave a comment down below. Tell me what your predictions are for the finale of season 20 for The Flash. I'm very excited. I'm very excited for it. So yeah, guys, thank you guys so much for watching. I love you guys. You guys are amazing, wonderful people. I'm hopefully going to have this video out relatively fast, or as I should say, in a flash. I love you guys. Thank you guys so much for watching. Stay classy, my friends.